It's a sky-dominating, cargo-hauling, all-terrain beast of the air. Its massive tandem rotors are recognizable from miles away with that unmistakable shape, forcing its way through the clouds, cementing its reputation for lifting anything from Humvees to howitzers. And if you like big power and aerial muscle, then strap in, because this is everything you need to know to get spun up on the CH-47 Chinook. The year was 1957 when a company called Vertol started working on the Model 107. Prior to this, the US heavy lift helicopter of choice was the Sikorsky CH-47 Mojave. And if the name Sikorsky sounds a little familiar to you, that's because these legends were the brainchild of the most versatile helicopter ever created. Maybe you've heard of it, the UH-60 Blackhawk. Now, while the CH-37 could carry a lot, it did have one or two somewhat sort of significant drawbacks. It was noisy, clunky, and not very efficient because it used a piston engine. This was a time in our history where piston engines in aircraft were quickly being overshadowed by a relatively new kid on the block called the turbine engine. Is it turbine or turbine? I don't know. I'm from the South and we don't word good at the best of days. By 1958, the US Army had ordered a small number of Model 107s, changed a bunch of stuff on it, and made it even bigger because, of course, America. And by 1962, the CH-47 Alpha Chinook was officially adopted. Now, the name Chinook wasn't chosen at random. It was selected because it symbolized the strength, resilience, and endurance of the Native American Chinook tribe, qualities that the helicopter itself embodies through its robust performance and reliability in the toughest environments. Also, fun fact, the CH in CH-47 stands for Cargo Helicopter. There, the more you know. This twin-rotor Titan is the definition of a unit. It weighs close to 27,000 pounds empty, boasts a lift capacity of 26,000 pounds, and can do so while flying at an altitude of 4,000 feet. Now, depending on its configuration, it can carry pallets of cargo or a gaggle of grunts 33 to 55 troops deep. But as capable as the CH-47 is, it can't function at its best without a solid crew on board. A typical crew includes 3 to 4 members, which are the 2 pilots, a flight engineer, and a crew chief. Now, don't get it twisted. Just because this flying trash can is huge, don't think for a second that it's going to be an easy target. For defense, the Chinook can be armed with up to 3 M240 machine guns or even M134 miniguns for when you're feeling a little bit extra spicy. And not only is this beast packing some serious heat, but it's also fast. In fact, the CH-47 is considered one of, if not the world's fastest military helicopters at a max speed of 196 miles per hour. Combine that speed with an operational range of 200 miles, and the Chinook can cover some serious ground. Now, it doesn't take a rocket surgeon to figure out that a key contributor to the Chinook's impressive figures is in no small part due to the iconic tandem configuration of its twin rotors. Unlike typical helicopters, which use a single top-mounted rotor and a smaller tail rotor to counteract torque, the Chinook employs 2 large rotors in tandem, eliminating the need for a tail rotor. This design choice enhances stability and lifting capacity, allowing the Chinook to carry heavier payloads and perform more demanding missions. Each rotor is powered by a T55 turboshaft engine, collectively generating more than 9,500 horsepower. Now, that stout power and unique rotor configuration make the Chinook one of the largest helicopters on the planet that can pull off a pinnacle landing. Now, in case you didn't know, a pinnacle landing is when a helicopter touches down on a tiny elevated spot with only part of its landing gear actually making contact with the ground. The helicopter hovers while the pilot carefully sets it down on a tiny speck of hard surface. Think of like a rock outcrop, a narrow ridge, or even a rooftop. You know, like the kinds of places American clandestine shadow warriors like to operate. But you didn't click on this video because of the Chinook's impressive ballet skills. No, of course not. You're here because of the Chinook's impressive haul capacity. And it's this bird's Herculean power that has made it an invaluable asset to not only the military, but also in disaster relief operations. In every single major natural disaster over the past several decades, the Chinook has been called upon to flex its muscle to assist those in dire need. Hell, even during Japan's nuclear meltdown in 2011, the Chinook was right there, putting in work, dumping thousands of gallons of water on the reactor in an attempt to cool it down. Keep in mind that the Chinook is doing all of this while being one of only a handful of military aircraft developed in the 1960s to still be in production and service. Not bad for this big old girl, not bad at all. But that's not to say the Chinook has remained unchanged this entire time. In order to keep up with the times, the Chinook has undergone many revisions with several notable variants showcasing its adaptability to different operational needs. The CH-47 Delta introduced upgraded engines, composite rotor blades, and advanced avionics, enhancing its performance and reliability. And the latest variant, the CH-47 Foxtrot, further improved upon these features with new Honeywell engines, a digital flight control system, and reduced maintenance requirements, making it even more efficient and easier to maintain. There's even a civilian version of the Chinook known as the Boeing Vertol 234. This bird has been adapted for various commercial applications to include firefighting, logging, and heavy lift operations. But you know what variant I jump on in a heartbeat? Definitely the MH-47. The MH-47 is the heavy lift chopper of choice for the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, better known as the Night Stalkers. The Night Stalkers are masters of nighttime operations capable of handling the toughest missions anytime, anywhere, and with incredible precision. And when the little bird is too cracked out making warm bodies cold, and the MH-60 is too busy putting the next Bin Laden wannabe 6 feet under, the MH-47 gets tagged in to flex its muscle. 160th SOAR utilized their Chinooks in what they call a heavy assault role, which just is the coolest description ever. A heavy assault role includes the insertion and extraction of special operations forces in hostile environments both on land and at sea. The latest variant, the MH-47 Golf, uses twin T-55 engines with infrared exhaust suppressors to reduce its IR visibility. It also features larger fuel sponsons known as fat tanks to extend the MH-47 Golf's range. And when fat tanks aren't enough, an extendable refueling probe enables mid-air refueling from fixed-wing tankers. Now when the 47 Golf gets on its target, it can either land and drop the boys off on foot, or when landing isn't possible, well, that's when the ropes come out. The MH-47 Golf is equipped with the Fast Rope Insertion Extraction System, or FRIES, for fast roping, or the Special Patrol Insertion and Extraction System, SPIES, for lifting up to 8 fully decked out troops, rope ladders, and an electronically powered rescue hoist. And of course, when things are getting extra spicy, you already know that my most favorite people on the planet get let off the leash to share hot copper with all who request it. I am of course referring to the airborne predators, the unhinged harbingers of rotary winged death, the door gunners. MH-47s are equipped with not one, not two, but 3 of these maestros of destruction. Generally, you'll find 2 of these heroes up front equipped with M134 miniguns, with a 3rd gunner in the rear equipped with an M240 machine gun. Now there's clearly no denying that the MH-47 is as menacing as she is deadly. But does that make her the ultimate Chinook variant? Actually, there is one more version of the Chinook that took the concept of force multiplier a little more literal than the rest. May I introduce the ACH-47 Alpha. This thing was more or less a Chinook gunship equipped with multiple machine guns and grenade launchers, and was designed for close air support, escort, and ground attack missions. There's no other way to describe the ACH-47 Alpha Chinook other than it was an absolute powerhouse. Let's run down the list. This beast was packing twin 20mm cannons, a 40mm automatic grenade launcher, 5 50 caliber machine guns, and weapons pods that could carry either 70mm rocket launchers or 7.62 miniguns. So why was so much heat needed on tap? Because moderation is for the weak, that's why. This armored beast could fly straight into the enemy resistance and come out the other side as the lone survivor. With overlapping fields of fire and 360-degree coverage, these Chinooks operated under the call sign Guns A Go-Go, which is just so damn cool. They were part of an experimental program during the Vietnam War aimed at creating heavy aerial gunships to support ground troops. They converted 4 CH-47s into AH-47 Alphas by quite simply getting rid of everything they didn't need and slapping on armor, then loading it down with bullets. Seriously, I mean anything they didn't need. The cargo hook, the winch, the heater, the cargo door, auxiliary loading ramps, soundproofing, basically anything but the seats for the pilots and the gunners to sit on came out. In exchange, they added over a ton of armor to this thing, on top of nearly 2 tons of munitions on board. And if you're wondering if these literal menace to societies had some equally hateful call signs, you'd be correct. These 4 newly configured ACH-47 Alphas were nicknamed Easy Money, Stump Jumper, Cost of Living, and my personal favorite, Birth Control. I seriously went down a rabbit hole on this insane Chinook variant, so I'm definitely going to have to make an entire separate video just on this thing. But really, the ultimate compliment anyone can give the Chinook gunship can be best summed up by the words of Major General Tolson, commander of the 1st Cavalry Division, Airmobile, during the Vietnam War. He had this to say about the gun's go-go. Though anything but graceful, it had a tremendous effect on the friendly troops, which constantly asked for its support. From an infantryman's viewpoint, when the go-go bird came, the enemy disappeared. Whenever an army can field equipment the enemy is reluctant to engage and can do so much to improve morale and assist the fighting man on the ground, they're on the right track. Well said, General Tolson. Well said. Despite being in service for over 60 years, the Chinook continues to evolve. Future enhancements, such as the CH-47 Foxtrot Block 2, aim to increase its payload capacity and performance at high altitude conditions. The U.S. Army plans to keep the Chinook in service beyond 2060, making it one of the longest serving aircraft in military history. The Boeing CH-47 Chinook stands as a testament to innovation and adaptability in military aviation. Its unique design, impressive capabilities, and continuous upgrades have ensured its place as an indispensable asset in both military operations and humanitarian efforts. As we look to the future, the Chinook's legacy of excellence will undoubtedly endure, continuing to inspire and support those who rely on its unparalleled performance. Now, once again, I don't think I could sum up the praise of the Chinook any better than General Tolson did. Now, even though the Huey gets most of the spotlight for its role in Vietnam, he had this to say about the Chinook. If the Huey helicopter became the cornerstone of air mobility, then the Chinook must be considered one of the principal building blocks. I hope you enjoyed this dive into the legendary Chinook, and if so, then please check out my previous videos about the most versatile helicopter on the planet or the most lethal gnat you hope to never piss off. That's it for today, guys. Be sure to share and subscribe, or don't. It's a free country. Do whatever you want. CT6 out.